So today we're going to use gesso as a resist with acrylic paint to make some abstract pieces to possibly use in collage or as cards. Here I'm showing you the gesso that I applied on two separate sheets, one with a fine line bottle of gesso mixed with a little bit of distilled water, another where I put it on with a stencil and a palette knife. At the end of the video, I'll show you all the supplies that I used and go over that more in depth. So I've got a rack to hold the paper because this is very messy. I also have a glass mat under that because it's easy to clean up. So I've put my acrylic paints in this dish and added a lot of water. It needs to be real watery. So the gesso is going to act as a resist. And you don't want to use a good brush because the gesso is pretty rough and it will damage like a sable brush. But any, cheaper type brush that you have would be good. This is a mop brush that I got. So you want a lot of water. You want very thin paint. Even though I used heavy duty paint here, I mixed a lot of water in with it. So the black is in the middle, and I'm going to put that around the gesso to make it stand out. So it's going to resist. And what we can do is wipe it off, or at the end you'll see me use a Q-tip to get it off. You want your darker colors around the gesso so it stands out, and then you can mix the others around. This is the Azo Gold. I'm using gloves, twofold. One, my nails are painted. I don't want to ruin my manicure because it is pretty messy. Number two, I have a bandage on my right hand because I fell up the stairs the other day and have a big gash that's bandaged, so I don't want to get it infected. You don't have to wear gloves, it's just acrylic paint. I just chose to today because of the issues that I've had. So the Azo Gold works really well with the black ink. And this is trial and error. So you put it on, you dry it, you take it off, you put it on until you're happy with it. This is a neutral gray I'm using here. And I'm going to go into the turquoise blue. You want to make sure you use colors that aren't going to muddy up the waters. I'm using a pair of tweezers just to hold it down because with all the water it does want to buckle, and that way I don't have to hold it. So I'm just using a pair of tweezers to hold it down. Then a lot of paper towels because you can dab at this and make it brighter. You can clean up your messes. And you want to dry it to see where you are and if you want to continue on. I think I went through 4 or 5 different layers of color. It doesn't need to be completely dry, just dry enough to see if it's something you like or if you want to make changes. And I'm using the hairdryer on a low heat setting. So I'm going to take my paper towel and rub it and dab it, lighten some colors, take the acrylic paint off of the gesso so it shows through. And then you go in for round 2. And like I said, you just keep doing this until you're happy with the outcome. Um, you do want it darker around the gesso so the gesso stands out. I will tell you that. I wouldn't use too many colors. Here I've got black and azo gold, I've got neutral gray, and I've got turquoise blue. So here I'm dabbing on the gesso and around it, and as you can see, it acts like a resist, so the part that you drew in with the gesso just pops right back out. And I'll show you a trick at the end where we can make it pop out even further. Now you could use this for collage. You could cut it up, use it as one piece. You could use it standalone. You could make a card out of it. There's so many uses for this. It is watercolor paper, so it's thicker than your typical collage paper like deli paper, medical exam paper, etc. So you might want to apply it with like a yes paste instead of just a matte medium, since it is a thicker paper. So we dried it again, we dab it off, and we're going to put more on until we're happy with it. I'm always afraid I will not get the white from the gesso back, so I tend to always want to do that each layer just to make sure I don't lose that. I haven't, but I'm still afraid that I will. I'm going to speed this up for a minute so you can just see what I'm doing without talking. It's the same process over and over, and I'll be right back. So right here, you can actually take a Q-tip and dampen it and go on top of the gesso, and it will take the acrylic paint off and dry it. It just gets it to a brighter stage, and that's what I did here. Good trick to know. Just brightens everything up and keeps everything around it darker. I'm putting one last wash of black around the whiteness to make it stand out even a little bit more. We're about finished here. I'm getting happy with this one. And then we have the one with the bricks. And I'm not going to talk during that one. I'm just going to do a fast forward to show you. But it's pretty much the same principle. And then at the end, I'll show you both of them and the supplies again of what I used. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you try this, let me know. I'd like to know how it turned out for you. Also, I don't do affiliate links. The way that you can support my channel is you can buy me a coffee through PayPal. You can give me a review, all in the description below. So the supplies we're going to be using today are acrylic paints. I'm using some watercolor postcards. These are actually Etcher brand. Any watercolor will do. We're putting a lot of water on here, so at least 140 pound. What I did is actually, this is a 4x6, and I did two and cut them in half. I'm going to be using them for collage or cards. Use white gesso. I used a stencil, looks like bricks. Put it on partial of the card and used my gesso with a palette knife to spread the gesso on. I also used a black acrylic a black acrylic paint. So what I like to do is, once everything is dried, I also used a big wash brush. I would recommend a large brush, but what I like to do is take the pieces and look at them at all angles, because I promise you, you will see something you did not realize that you had. Things just appear. They are great, they may not be great. This was the brick stencil, and when I was doing it, I'm like, this is the not the best one I've done. But then right here, as I looked at it, I kept going back to it, and when I lay it down and turn it over, what I see are people. And I can definitely incorporate this into something. So you got little heads with bodies, and I love it. So don't ever think that they didn't work out. Wait till they dry, turn them around, look at them, use them in your collages, like I said. And I apologize again for my hand. Like I said, I fell up the stairs and it's healing, but I'm fine. Hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. I took some time off for the holidays. Hope y'all had a great holiday, and I will see you soon. Have a great day. Bye now.